Hey, it's JC1424 once again with another album review, and today we're going to be talking about the new Owl City album, Cinematic. The previous album was Mobile Orchestra in 2015. I have to say that though it had many collaborations with other artists, it was a decent album, but it's where we start noticing that Owl City's falling off in creativity. We get to this one, and the lyrics are a little bit more playful in many places, but I still don't think it comes near as enjoyable and poetic as previous albums such as All Things Bright and Beautiful and Ocean Eyes from 2009 and 2011. Then you had the Midsummer Station, which was one where they were changing things up a bit with the sound, trying to be a little more poppy, mainstream, I suppose, and I feel like they still had that awesome characteristic to it that the previous albums had. But going to this album, it's called Cinematic because it's over an hour long, and it's meant to be a bit theatrical. In some places, it kind of gets annoying because I hear these oboes, clarinets, harps, and such that I would only be into if I was actually watching a movie. In other places, it's really enjoyable because it's very suspenseful for the music. The lyrical content here is a little more playful than it was in comparison to Mobile Orchestra, so that's something that I admire about it. And for the most part, a lot of the songs I tend to like more than what we had throughout Mobile Orchestra. Now, I got into Owl City around, I think, 2009 or maybe 2010 because Legend of the Guardians, a movie based off a book series called Guardians of Ga'Hoole, had a song in the soundtrack made for the movie which was titled To the Sky, which was the first Owl City song that I ever knew. And before that, in 2009, there was a single, Fireflies, the biggest song by Owl City. It's even a meme these days. And, well, I heard that from a Kids Bop commercial whenever I was watching TV during the summer. So, I gotta say, I had heard Fireflies first, but I didn't actually know the song. But after I heard To the Sky, I started connecting with Owl City quite a bit because I went looking for their music. I gotta say, to this day, To the Sky is still one of my favorite Owl City songs. So, let's get talking about the album. The album starts off with 3 singles, released, I think, all towards the end of 2017. That's very bad promotion, but first off, almost the entire record, I think like 9 of the 15 songs on it, were released before the album as singles. That's just freaking awful because you don't want to have like 10 theatrical trailers before a movie comes out because then you know the entire movie and there's no reason to see it. See, it's like we already know the entire storyline, but I guess he was meant to just do everything in reels and give us bits and pieces until we almost had the entire thing. It's kind of bad mistake if you ask me, but oh well. First track is Fiji Water, and this is a song about how he got his first record label in 2008 before Ocean Eyes came out. And it's a very playful song. I like how he's talking about how he was nervous and he wishes that he wasn't, and they gave him some Fiji water, and I guess he thanked him before he went out the door. I don't know if they actually did that though, but he's wishing that he could have changed his approach to getting it. Tell him how he's different and his oddity can make his music more enjoyable. And it was, but he's just wishing that he was different back then. And it's a really fun experience to just hear about. Then you go into track 2, which is the 5th of July. I am recording this on the 5th of July, but this is a song about the 5th of July, I think 35 years ago, whenever he was born. It's a song about the story as it was told whenever he was born by his parents, like how they told it. And it's interesting to be born, you know, the day after the 4th of July, Independence Day and everything, but that really is a part of the story as well. It's a really soft song, and it's very heartwarming to hear about it from that perspective, because I feel like it's something that we can all relate to, you know, just listening to our parents tell us about the night that we were born or something. And then you go into track 3, the lead single, All My Friends. Oh my goodness, this sounds like some freaking Disney Channel TV show theme song. That is very unprofessional coming from someone like Owl City, and all the lyrics are kind of just simple. It's all about meeting up and having a good time with your friends and stuff like that, talking about the old days. But it's just not that enjoyable because everything seems so fixed towards the mainstream. Some things don't even fit together, but it's just forced, like the acoustic guitar, the rapped country-esque vocals, and then there's just chorus that is so freaking Disney-like. It's just kind of awkward hearing this song. Whenever I first heard it, I said, I guess I like it, and that was me trying to force myself to like it. But after I realized that hardly any Owl City fan actually likes this song, it's really the worst Owl City song ever released. It's the worst song in the album, but I guess it's nice to get it out of the way early.
And I'd say, hey, thanks for the weekend. I ain't a smooth talker, but thanks for the Fiji water.
Then we head into track 4, which is House Wren. This is a song that is meant to be very free-spirited and upbeat, And that can be probably said about All My Friends, but that song doesn't even count anyways. But this song reminds me of how birds will come out from the winter into the spring, trying to find a home, a place they can stay. And of course, it's meant to be relative to Adam Young himself, I guess, whenever he was just trying to figure out where he wanted to buy his house or where he wanted to live and make his music and stuff. At least that's what I think it is. And to be honest, he's probably trying to describe Minnesota, home, Seattle. I don't even remember, he's like Minnesota or Seattle or something, because he didn't have a song called Hello Seattle, obviously. But anyhow, this is not a song I'll really skip by any means, just because early on in the album, anything will do as long as it's not actually bad. But getting through the album, you get more songs like the ones I'm going to be talking about on this clip, and it's just, it doesn't do it for you. It gets kind of tiring. But we go to track 5, which is Not All Heroes Wear Capes. This song was released in the middle of 2017 as a Father's Day single, I think. It was actually an acoustic version, so whenever you get to this one, I don't dig it that much because of this country rock-esque guitar, and it's got the same sappy lyrics, of course. And I mean, I didn't like the acoustic version that much, but I like this version even less just because of that guitar that this song has. But them lyrics, it's kind of like a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old trying to do something for Father's Day, but instead it's like a 30, 35-year-old guy doing it. It's just gooey and awkward. I mean, Owl City songs are supposed to be weird in many cases, but this isn't exactly weird. It's awkward. I don't even know what the difference is, but just go with it. And as you get to the end of this song, you get that orchestra in the background, but you get that with many songs in the album because it's meant to be so theatrical. But to be honest, it doesn't help whenever you keep hearing it over and over again. And then we get to track 6, which is Montana. This is probably my favorite song I'm talking about right here, just because it is a song that is adventurous, and it's the first time on the album that he's talking about going places. Montana, he's being descriptive about it. It's very instrumentational. It really does have this great pounding sound to it as you get to the chorus, and even his singing is more passionate on this track. Throughout this album, this is one of the only places where he reaches that higher register that I can appreciate. So all in all, this song is probably my favorite one I'm talking about in this clip, and one of my top favorites on the album.
On North Fork Road, you're almost home. Get lost in Montana.
The first song that Owl City released in 2018 is track 7 on this album, and that is Lucid Dream. And still to this day, like 6 months later, this is one of my favorite songs released all year. And of course, my favorite song in this album, and it has to be like one of my top 5 or at least top 10 favorite Owl City songs, because their music back in the day was just constantly just amazing me with Ocean Eyes and All Things Bright and Beautiful. But with this song, what I love about it so much is that it goes so much more in touch about sleep and dreaming than songs like Dreams Don't Turn to Dust and Dreams and Disasters did. Those songs were just using it as an analogy. It really did connect with it. You know, you even got Fireflies or whatever that are, some people think that it's about lucid dreaming, but it's not. But it's always had this connection with dreams and sleeping. Whenever this song, he talks about how life is an opportunity to make your dreams come true. And whenever you're asleep, your mind is working out and making your dreams come true right then and there. And it's so simple because it's just your mind taking care of it. But even the music here is just fascinating, as it comes from something so soothing to being muffled with its sounds in the background to actually being able to hear them clearly. And that chorus comes in, it's really loud, powerful, and just brilliant. And the lyrics here are something that we don't get throughout this album as much as it's just poetic and playful, and what you got with an album like All Things Bright and Beautiful. So this song doesn't even sound like it comes from this album because it doesn't have that orchestra idea to it that I'm thinking of. Everything being all theatrical, sound like a freaking movie score. But then you get to track 8, which is Always, which as you go through that song, it does. And you figure a track like Always with that name would be some kind of romantic thing like The Fault in Our Stars, because they had a thing with that in that movie. But here, it's just this same religiously motivating kind of song that we've gotten with, you know, You're Not Alone or My Everything from Mobile Orchestra in 2015. And it's not anything I can hold against him for, you know, being open about his religion, but at the same time, he just puts so much emphasis on the straightforward lyrics that he writes. And musically, the only thing that I like about this is the fact that it's got this piano-driven feeling to it. And as you get to the end of the song, like I said, it has that orchestra in the background with the freaking oboes and the harps, and it becomes tiring because it's not a movie, it's not a movie soundtrack, movie score, whatever. It's just like an actual song as part of an album, and it's not something I want to just be continually listening to be honest, but that's just me, to be just saying. And then we get to track 9, which is Cloud 9. I'm just now realizing that Cloud 9 is track 9, so that's kind of embarrassing, but whatever, that's beside the point. This song has a lot of key changes in it, which is really cool and all, but that seems to be all that it has, because you go through the song, it doesn't really have enough growth or enough, energy rising through the song to actually get my attention. And this is this motivating song about being adventurous and trying to reach the heavens, the clouds up in the sky. And this song, it really doesn't blow me away that much. It was one of the singles. It's pretty okay for, one of the a little above average songs on the album.
That's how you study the stars. That's how you study the stars. And that's how you know them by heart. Life is a lucid dream.
Track 10 on this album is Winners Never Quit. And from the very beginning, this song does seem like it's going to be one of the most unique songs on the album, just because it has a little gamey tune to it. Sounds like it's coming from, I guess, like a Nintendo console for like a Mario or Donkey Kong game. But once you get into the song, you realize that it's just the same inspirational song, trying to be motivating, convince you to beat that Mario video game that's too hard for your 6-year-old self in the 80s or whatever. I don't know. But as you go through the song, it's got this same melody that Owl City uses in songs like Wolf Bite, Verge. Then you got this song right here. I think there's probably like 7 songs on this album that we've been plagued by with this melody. But in the end, I can only memorize this or remember this song just because it has that melody at the beginning. I can't really decide whether it's skippable or not. Maybe I'll skip it after hearing that melody just because I like that little Nintendo thing that's got in the background. But, whatever. Then we go into track 11, which is Madeline Island. This song is, of course, location-based, as he's trying to describe, Madeline Island. And he did the same thing with Montana. It has that same lyrical concept. He's just trying to get us to go to this place and go on vacation there. I think these places, Montana and Madeline Island, they're paying him to talk about them. And then in a little bit, he goes talking about New York City, which, to be honest, is probably one of my favorite songs in the album where he's actually talking about a place. But it's meant to be inspirational and adventurous, go places and explore. And even the orchestra instrumentation that these songs have to them, with this one right here, it doesn't seem that different from Montana. It seems like the exact same melodramatic, intense thing. The energy comes off so bland and recycled at this freaking point. And we get another song like this whenever we go to track 12, which is Be Brave. But what saves this song really and makes it one of my favorite songs in the album, I think my third favorite, is the fact that it has, actual guitar in there. It's really soft at first and it develops itself as it gets to the chorus. And then wham, freaking guitar is there. It's really loud and powerful. It has that energy to it. And as we get to the album, there's one more song that has a guitar in there that really does pull it off as a pop-punk song. But this one right here is my favorite just because it's so different and the inspirational message that it has to it about how you can go throughout life and you should not let yourself hold yourself back. If something is keeping you afraid and you don't feel like you should be afraid of it and not so nervous, you just push yourself to do it and you'll realize that it's not as bad as it seems. And with this song right here, even this song, my third favorite song on the album, does seem a bit repetitive, redundant with the orchestra in the background, but that guitar kind of just keeps me from paying attention to it.
I learned the meaning of the phrase. Be brave.
My favorite of the 3 location-based songs, as I call them, would be New York City, which is track 13. And I think the main reason why is because whenever it came out also with a music video, and it showed them going on a road trip, a guy and his girlfriend in this little Volkswagen bus or whatever, and it has all these road trip references and the lyrical content that I can appreciate because it's really fun and playful. It's creative, and that's what you expect from Owl City after all these freaking years. But with this song right here, it's coming in a vacating style, as opposed to Montana and Madeline Island. Those seem to be just about going on adventures and just being inspiring in that sense and how life is an adventure. But with this one, it's about the trip there instead of just being about being there and describing that place. You can see that in the music video whenever they're going to a gas station, buying candy, and they're just having their fun. With this song right here, I really admire how you get to the chorus and it's happy. It really shines through with that chorus. It's kind of like Montana, and maybe if it didn't have the music video, I wouldn't like it as much, but that's the main reason why it's my favorite of those 3 songs. Then we go into track 14, which is Firebird. You see that title? This is a song named after Sports car. I think the Firebird's a Pontiac. There's a Thunderbird, then there's a Firebird. I think the Thunderbird is the Ford, and oh, whatever. I should be a car specialist, but I'm not, so you screw me. But this song right here is, of course, a lot like All My Friends or, the meme Photograph by Nickelback, but it kind of falls somewhere in between for me because this is that pop punk track that I was talking about whenever I was just mentioning Be Brave a while ago. But whenever I say pop punk, I don't mean like Green Day, Blink-182, or Sum 41, though Owl City did a pop punk track on, I think it was the Midsummer Station called Dementia featuring Blink-182. This song comes off as a Hannah Montana or Avril Lavigne song. And those are songs written by girls. So he's a guy. I don't know why I'm feeling this feeling, but the thing I admire about this song most whenever it has this idea of jumping into a sports car and, just that sports car reminding you of all the memories that you would have, all the fun times you'd have whenever you get in a little trouble and whatever. It comes off like Photograph or All My Friends, except I like this one more because of the guitar that it has in the song. It really just, powers it up. And you get to that chorus, and it's a very intriguing way of, presenting it because his voice does kind of swoop down a bit, has that accidental there. And it's a song about that nostalgia, but it's just kind of weird whenever I'm hearing this song and it sounds like something from freaking Disney TV shows or something. It's just maybe a good Disney TV show that I can appreciate, not the campfire stupidity like All My Friends. Whatever. And then the last song on the album is track 15, Cinematic. From the very beginning, I just want to mention, this song has this freaking melody that irritates me because it's something copied from New York City. Now, I like New York City, but whenever I hear this melody again in the last song on the album, it's like, I just wonder why I'm hearing it again, and it feels like it's being stolen from another song. I'm not talking about that melody that we keep getting in songs such as the one earlier, I think it was Madeline Island or Winners Never Quit. I don't know, we get like I said, 7 or 8 songs on the album, but this one is just a main melody from New York City, and it's there, and it seems kind of misplaced, but that's beside the point. This is the song that's meant to sum up the entire album. It has that theme about how life is like a movie directed by you. And with that being said, it comes off a bit corny, of course, but I like how it's got them weird lyrics, and the instrumentation, it's got to be here more than anything else. Like with other songs, you had the orchestra thing, and I just started not getting into it. But it's not that tiring anymore because it's the last song on the album. So I can't hate on the song that much. If none of the other songs on the album like this existed, and this was the only song like it, I'd probably like the song more. But at this point, it does kind of wear me out. This album, excluding the bonus tracks, which are really just alternate versions of All My Friends, Montana, and Firebird, is over an hour long by just a bit. And it really does start to drag on within, 20 minutes whenever you start getting these songs that keep using this orchestra, theatrical, music score kind of thing. But nonetheless, I want to thank Adam Young for making an album that is very unique in the music industry. Nobody would actually, spend the time to make an album with this motivation to it, with, all these life as an adventure things. Even though it does get repetitive, I like how he went with that with this album. And my final score for Cinematic, the 2018 Owl City album, is a 75%. I don't know what I would give Mobile Orchestra, but I gotta say that it is just the slightest bit more enjoyable for me personally because it's not so collaborative. And aside from that, I gotta say, I will probably listen to this album 1 or 2 more times once I get past the fact that it does get repetitive. And that is about it. I really had some great songs to take away from this, such as Lucid Dream, Be Brave, Fiji Water, and maybe, of course, I will save Firebird among those 3. But everything else, it's kind of an underwhelming album because they really did just hype it up to be such a big thing, releasing single after single. And all in all, I know it has the same rating as that 3 Days Grace album Outsider, but obviously that's a rock album. This is like an electronica with the orchestra thing into it. It's not the same deal, but in terms of satisfaction, that's just what I'm getting. I can't just automatically not be satisfied because it's a different genre. But thanks for taking the time to watch and listen to me talk about the new Owl City album. I really did love some songs on here, but it's just, for the most part, it was dragging itself down. It was getting me a bit tired of listening to it. I mean, it was just exhausting, you taking the freaking notes to review this album, to be honest. But that's the most I can say. I'm glad I have finally gotten out of the way. I am kind of sorry that I couldn't get the review out on the date of Adam Young's birthday. But, I mean, at least I'm recording it on his birthday. It's got to count for something, right? Anyhow, see you next time. That's that. And album review over.
Tell me why I look back and I wanna cry. Sometimes I feel like we grew up too fast. You and I had the time of our younger lives. Sometimes I